Hey, you know, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be alive. Um, I've tried to improve my lifestyle, eating better, getting more exercise, and so on. But the truth of the matter is, looking at family history, there's a good chance that either I will die soon because of heart problems, like my uncle and my grandfather and my dad almost, except he was saved by surgeries, or I'll end up with dementia, which is in some ways far worse. Um, I think I'd rather just die, but not soon. My kids are teenagers, and that is really what motivates me to live longer. Um, but ultimately, there's a limit to what I can do. I'm not that great at cooking. Sometimes I get lucky, but most of the time, my best meals are if I buy a thing of sauce, most of the time. So it's possible that before I hit 60, I'll be dead. Um, and you're thinking, why are you thinking about this? Why are you saying this? And the truth of the matter is um, I grew up looking at death perhaps somewhat differently than other people. Um, I know that there are people out there who fear death because they believe they're going to go to hell. And there are people who fear death because there are things they want to accomplish, or they just want to enjoy a long life and or be a hedonist, or explore the world, or learn lots of things, or whatever it is. There's lots of different reasons. Um, but I remember as a child being taught this song. Did you ever think when the hearse goes by that someday you're going to die? The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, the worms play pinochle on your snout. Your eyes fall in and your teeth falls out. Your hair turns greener than sauerkraut. Did you ever think when the hearse goes by that someday you're going to die? Now, I don't want to tell you who taught me that song because honestly, I don't want that person to be persecuted for doing so. But it gave me a different perspective, I think. It was one of the things, anyways. Another thing that gave me a different perspective is my views on religion, on God, evolved over time, and also as I learned about psychology and I learned how to make changes in my own personality with varying degrees of success. I came to realize I didn't have to fear death. Um, but yeah, it's to think that I could die before my son turns 18. I could die while my daughter is still in university. Um, I'd like very much to remain mentally whole and live to see my kids grow up and become successful and, uh, at the very least, happy, and be at their sides to support them. So the only thing about death that scares me is that not being able to do that, especially if they're not adults yet. Um, so part of the reason that I made this channel is because my wife never had recordings done of herself that my children could cherish as she was in the hospital, slowly being killed by cancer and hypoglycemia. So they really have nothing but memories and some photographs. And unfortunately, when I was in Indonesia, the last, what was it, in 2016, I think, I was coming back from a trip to teach a group of students about English. in Eastern Java, I believe it was, and I was on a late night bus because I couldn't get on the earlier bus, and I fell asleep after a while, and the person sitting behind me waited until I fell asleep and then reached through the seat with a knife and cut open my bag and stole my storage device that had all of my, well, most of my family pictures on it. And I didn't have I didn't have a copy. So, most of our life in Indonesia is either sitting on CDs in a musty family house in Croya, rotting, most likely becoming unusable, or were erased so somebody could use or resell that device. So we lost a lot of, I guess you could say, memories. So this channel is sort of something that my kids can look at in order to remember me, at least part of me, even though this channel does not show all of who I am, good and bad, and know that I love them, and that even if I'm not there, that I wanted to be there with them and to give them guidance. I think that there are certain things that I've done very well in my life. I've made a lot of improvements in myself, and that was because of a combination of learning about how to improve myself and understanding psychology and making actual efforts to improve myself. I've conquered 4 phobias. I developed my own form of hypnosis. I learned how to give massages. And I have largely conquered um, social anxiety, generalized anxiety, and even depression and paranoia and other things. And I'm a better person for it. I'm still not the person I'd like to be. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still not good enough. And I know this not just because I feel this way, but because my kids are able to criticize me when I make mistakes. Um, so I continue to try to evolve and become a better person. And it's definitely a challenge, but I try. So the other thing that I think that has really helped me is I've learned how to analyze, how to research. And that's something that I've noticed that a lot of people seem to have trouble doing. And granted, if you're looking at technical papers, if you don't have enough of an education in that sort of thing, and I admit that I need more education on how to evaluate technical papers and some of the language that they use. If you are not able to look at a research paper and at the very least understand what it says, if not evaluate it for problems, for conflicts of interest, for uh, conf- factors that would contradict the results that were gotten to by the researchers. Um, it's very hard to sort through the crap that has flooded the internet and even mainstream media and alternative media from the truth. And there's a lot of it. It's really hard. I mean, when I started researching at the beginning of this year, approximately, about how to eat better to help my physical health and my mental health in terms of memory, it was very confusing because there was a lot of contradictory information out there. There were a lot of experts and non-experts who were giving opposite advice on what to do. And it took a lot of digging for me to come to the conclusion. But even then, I've got people who insist, no, you're absolutely wrong. I mean, being a vegan is a very stupid choice. It's very, very detrimental to your health. So I believe that I've taken the right path for myself. I have noticed improvements. I've lost weight. First of all, I've lost almost 35 pounds. My high was 205 pounds, and I'm now down to about 172 in less than a year. And actually, I've been at 172 for probably a couple months now. So maybe in half a year, I dropped 33 pounds. And I feel as if, and I could be wrong, I feel as if my memory is getting somewhat better. And again, it could be that I'm wrong, but I've noticed lately that it seems like I'm having less trouble with memory loss than I was before. And I hope that's true, because I'll tell you what, going down the road that my mom has gone down in terms of memory loss and dementias, it really scares me. I'd rather die than be like my mom is. She's not even really my mom anymore. I mean, the mannerisms are still there, but she has trouble talking. Um, Sometimes she laughs instead of saying a word because she doesn't know what to say, or she'll make a nonsense word, or she'll choose a different word that has nothing to do with what she's trying to say, or she'll just give up on the sentence. She often doesn't know who I am, or she thinks that I'm my dad. Um, Sometimes she's in a good mood, and sometimes she's suspicious or grumpy, or sarcastic. It's very hard sometimes. But she is still my mom, even if she's not my mom in terms of her personality, in terms of her memory. And so I still take care of her as best as I can with my sister's help, and still visit her every week. And yeah. So, children, I love you very much. And if something has happened to me, if you've made a mistake, know that I love you, and that I hope that you will correct your mistakes and work as I have tried to do to become a better person. And hopefully someday you'll look at yourself and you'll realize, wow, I've done so much work on myself that I'm better. And I'm not only better, I'm better than my dad. So, maybe it's setting the bar a little bit too low to try to become better than me. But you could, I guess, use that as an initial goal, and then you can work to become even better than that. Whether I'm still here or not when you see this video, Jasmine and Iregi, I love you too so very much. And as I've told you before, when Mama died, you are what kept me alive. And you continue to be what keeps me alive. And I hope that even if we're on the opposite sides of the planet, that you won't forget about me, and you'll forgive me for my many, 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 many mistakes, and you'll still love me as I love you. Boy, before I start crying, I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful day. And if it's you, Jasmine, or Reggie, or both,